What's up, guys? How are you? It's time for a Week 14 NFL live stream. He is Andrew Erickson. I am Matt Perrault, and we are live on the BettingPros YouTube channel for what will be, now we got to count this down. It's a depression, but I woke up fired up, excited, because we get to talk NFL football here on December as we head towards the postseason. Andrew, how are you? I like this slate today. I might be a little bit overcommitted to this slate today, but how are you, and how are you feeling about this Sunday?
Feeling good. No Patriots on today. They have the bye week, so more action on all the other games. So looking forward to it and ready to break it down.
Yeah, let's get into it right away because there's some fun games to talk about. And if you are somebody who has taken a look at the awful year that the public has had this year betting, you have to be careful. I don't, and this is something that kind of pet peeve of mine, but we don't know what each book needs from a liability standpoint. But if you take it from a macro perspective and look at number of tickets being placed, that generally gives you an idea of where the public is, where the public money is. Some books are willing to put that out more accurately than others, but generally speaking, you can find a ballpark number of where the tickets are for a certain play. We are talking about historic numbers for the public losing when we get over 60% of the tickets on one side. And there are numerous games today in which the public feels like they have an edge and they think they know what they're talking about, and they are betting, and they're betting consistently. We'll start with one of them, with Washington on the road against the Vikings. Everyone's betting against the Vikings. I would be very careful here with this, okay? Just looking at the numbers, looking at the number of tickets as to what we have seen. The number now is 1 or 1.5 with a total of 44. Andrew, the Vikings at home, I don't like them either, but at home, I'm not fading JJ McCarthy, whether he's got a secondary personality or not. I like that defense against Washington. Where are you on Commanders Vikings?
I think I'll just take the value with the home team and the points. Like, that's the way I'd read it. Again, I don't have a strong lean in this direction. When I thought it was going to be Mariota, I actually like the Vikings a lot more because I figured this is a classic overtime hangover spot. They looked really good against the Broncos. They went down to the wire. They almost won the game outright as big underdogs. And now it seems like a spot where maybe they fall flat here on the road against the Vikings. McCarthy's back. I think they're going to play a little bit better at home. The last two games have been tough at Lambeau, at Seattle. I mean, most quarterbacks might struggle in those two games. So I think it's kind of been overemphasized, the downfall of this Vikings offense. They're back at home. The one thing that is always that's tricky, though, is handicapping this with Jaden Daniels, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it makes it really, really tough. So for me, this one, I'm not choosing a side. And I mean, that's why the spread is so close, right? And no one's really convinced, Commanders go in and dominate. They have the better quarterback, but how healthy is Jaden Daniels playing on the road? And he hasn't been that great this year compared to his rookie season. So I think the value's with the Vikings here, but it's not one of my best bets.
Yeah, me neither. 61% just at the one site that I'm looking at. 61% of the tickets are coming in here on Washington. That number 60 is significant. NFL teams getting 60% of tickets or more are 46 and 78 ATS. That is 37% through week 13. This has been tickets of 60% or more are below 500 ATS in 12 of the 13 weeks this season. The 37% cash mark is the worst through 13 weeks in the 23 history of what the Action Network has found from their database. So it is historic at the moment. Be careful running with your buddies. If you're at a bar and everyone's saying, go this way, be very careful, okay? The public has been really bad when it comes to the guy at the end of the bar telling you what to bet because, of course, it's going to be the Commanders today. We're going to hammer them. They're going to walk into Minnesota and win the game easily. Be careful. This is a big stay-away game for me. Miami and the Jets. I think you and I are on the same side here of this game, which is kind of a theme of today. I think you and I are seeing the board very similarly. I got 3. This number now has dipped to 2.5 for the Jets at home. But Tyrod Taylor is a covering machine. All the guy does is cover. He hasn't failed to cover since 2022. That's the last time he started a game where he didn't cover. I love the Jets today, +3. Where are you on Dolphins Jets?
Love the Jets. Jets on the money line. Loved them last week. Same process, right? Bet against a guy who can't play outside playing in New York in December. I don't think it really needs to be that much more complicated. That the Jets, as we all know, don't have an interception yet this season. They have 0 interceptions. Tua has thrown 14 picks this year. He's going to get picked off today, and that's going to help the Jets win. You can get plus money at Tua to throw a pick. So that's one of my favorite player props this week.
Wow.
He's
plus money?
Yeah. It's actually, the odds are actually more juice for Tyrod Taylor to throw a pick than it is for Tua.
How about that? Is that simply because the Jets can't catch an interception? Like, is that just scheme? Like, what is that? That's wild.
So they do play a lot of man coverage. So that doesn't necessarily help them. But when you look at Tua in the splits this year with zone and man coverage, he's thrown all 14 of his picks against zone coverage. I'm forecasting Aaron Glenn to look at the tape from the last time they played and realize, okay, if we just sit back in zone, he's going to make mistakes. And that's how we can win this game. So considering they don't have Sauce Gardner anymore, they're playing a little bit of less man coverage because they don't have the same personnel with the lockdown DBs. They just sit back in zone and make Tua make his mistakes. This happens all the time with him. So that's how I'm reading this game. So I love the Jets here.
J.H. Claps is asking us about the total in this game, which is 41. Now, the weather doesn't seem to be that big of an issue. I just know that I'm not there, but I talk to people every day who are in your neck of the woods, Andrew. It's freezing cold, right?
It's cold.
I mean, it's bitter. This is Tua under 32 degrees, right? This is how that stat pops up. Him when temperatures are freezing, Tua can't beat anybody.
No, he cannot. No.
So under.
Under. I mean, the last time we saw Tua play in a road game with any type of weather this year, they got destroyed by the Browns. Like that's what happened the last time we saw him. And the last time he's played in New York, 2 games, he's totaled 3 interceptions. So I know that he's never lost to the Jets. I know that that's kind of like one of the things. Well, he never lost to the Patriots either, and then he lost to the Patriots earlier this year. So it's like, okay, eventually things are going to kind of hit regression. I think you're going to come in a big way here with the Jets. I mean, you can get like, I think 6-1 for him to throw 2 picks. Like you can get really long shot odds. If you really think this kind of like spirals for Tua in this game on the road and he's throwing multiple interceptions, you can make a lot of money betting against Tua on the road in the cold.
Tyrod Taylor in his career as a starting quarterback is 37-21-4 ATS. He is 7-0-1 since the beginning of 2022 against the spread as a starter. He just covers. He may not win, but again, you and I have 3, so maybe it ticks back up here before. It's a great long teaser option. If you guys want to tease the Jets up to 8.5, you have that opportunity to do so. Low total, give them 8.5 points if you want to do that. So there's 2 different ways. If you're not comfortable with the 3, you can tease it up to 8.5. And I think the Jets, if they do lose, they only lose by 7. So I think you'll be able to cover that 2.5 points if you tease it up to 8.5 here, and then take the total. If you can same game tease it if you want, take the total up to 47 and take under. I would be surprised if it's a high scoring game today going on between these 2 teams, just given the weather and the offenses that we're going to see between the Jets and the Dolphins. Tennessee and Cleveland. I have a prop bet here on this game, but that's about it. The number is down to 3.5 for the Browns. There will be weather here in the area, but nothing too significant, nothing awful. It's going to be cold. It's going to be breezy in Cleveland, but not like we've seen in the past. The total in this game, Andrew, is 33. I have been doing full-time content in sports betting for a while. Okay. I think I'm now on my 8th year of being a full-time content creator for sports gambling, and I cannot believe this total. 33. I think I remember a 31 a couple of years ago, which was the lowest, and maybe even a 30. But that was when there was extreme weather in the area and it was cold and windy and like nobody could throw the football. This isn't a weather game. This is a bad offense game between the Titans and the Browns. Do you dare bet over 33?
I mean, that's probably where the value is, right?
Right.
And what you're happening is what happened last week with the Browns. Why they didn't cover is because all these special teams issues, right?
Yeah.
So I get that we're fading the offenses, but when you have defenses that create short fields, you don't necessarily need offensive explosion to get points. So that's kind of where you run the issue where, I want to keep pounding the under when it's 33, 32, 31. Like you're losing value in that proposition. So for me, I'll lay the points with the Browns at home. Last week, again, just the special teams miscues absolutely killed them. They were in that game against the 49ers. Like I was on the Browns last week, did not work out, but I'm not going to fade them again. They're at home against a rookie quarterback starting who hasn't played on the road since week 8. The Titans have covered plus 3.5 twice this season. Basically for me, it's what would it take for me to bet on the Titans I would need a touchdown at least. I don't care who the Browns quarterback is. It's all about their defense, about Myles Garrett, who could get the sack record today. So I'll take the Browns. 3.5 is not enough points for me.
Yeah, I think they let Shador throw today. I think Shador's he threw for 150 yesterday. I think he throws for over 160 yards today. I think they'll let him drop back and pass. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the offensive play calling not being the friend of Sanders and allowing Dylan Gabriel in other games to throw for 39, 40 attempts, and yet they're holding back on Shador Sanders. So I think that's going to be something we'll see today. I think 30 plus attempts coming for Shador Sanders. It may not be a good thing for the Browns to do that, but I do think they're going to let him drop back and pass. And just to jump back to the Jets game for a second, in the chat, Marcus is saying it's not cold in New York. I got it at 38 degrees currently in New York. Again, I don't know if you've been around much, but like here in Vegas, it's going to be 65 today. 38's cold. Okay. That's cold for folks like us who live in the warm weather. You live in Miami and you're used to 75-degree temperatures. 38's cold. Okay. You may not go like, it's good, I'm wearing shorts outside. Fine. That's you, but that's not what warm weather teams are used to playing in 38-degree temperatures, in particular, guys like Tua. So just FYI, you might not think it's cold, but for us, thin blood people, okay. I'm just telling you, 38 degrees is freaking cold. That's no fun to go outside and play football. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, Andrew. This is just one of those games when you have a 3-point or higher line. It doesn't matter what the teams look like. It doesn't matter who the quarterbacks are. It doesn't matter who's hurt and who's not. You're taking the dog in this series between Pittsburgh and Baltimore because it's just been ridiculously profitable. 23, 5, and 3 against the number when the line is above 3 between the Ravens and the Steelers. I took 6. Where are you on Pittsburgh, Baltimore?
I'm not touching this game. I think that your analysis is spot on. You just trust the process. This is the process play. Just take the Steelers. That just, to me, it's like, the Steelers feel so different this year than in past years with Tomlin. They want to fire the coach. And look, one of these teams has to bounce back, right? Coming off just terrible games last week. And if I have to get on a team bouncing back here, I think the Ravens I think they're the better team, but they're still favored. And it doesn't mean if they win, doesn't mean they cover. So I think that you're probably safe here, or as safe as you can be when it comes to handicapping these AFC North games, which are incredibly difficult to project. So for me, it's actually a prop that I like. Again, talking about it's December, baby. Derrick Henry. That's what I want. That's who I want to bet on in this game. Over 80. It's 80.5 rushing yards for Derrick Henry. He's averaged over 100 rushing yards per game in December and January. This is his time to shine. The Ravens want to get back on offense, get back on track. I think they just feed the king, right? You saw the Steelers. Yeah. They couldn't stop the same run play the Bills ran over and over and over again. They have a bunch of injuries. Kyle Duggar's out. Derek Harmon's out. I just think that the Ravens, if they want to get back on track, they just feed the king. So that's one of my best bets this week. Derrick Henry over 80.5 rushing yards. Yeah, and I think something's wrong with Lamar. I don't think Lamar is right. So I think you want to limit the number of times he's dropping back. You want to limit the number of times he's running. I think we'll find out exactly what Lamar Jackson is dealing with at some point in the future, but he doesn't look like the same player that he has been in previous seasons. And look, they're 6-6. So are the Steelers. They're 6-6. Huge game. We'll talk about it later with the Bengals and the Bills. But if the Bengals win that game, all of a sudden the Bengals are alive to win the division. And I'm not saying they can't beat Buffalo in Buffalo. It's going to be snowy. It's going to be different. But Joe Burrow has had Josh Allen's number in his career. So if Burrow wins that game, and they're 6-point dogs, but my gosh, now we're talking about a 7-6. I'm sorry if you have kids in the car. 6-7 for the team that loses this game, and so you have then a team right behind the Bengals who are sitting there with 5 losses. And if they win out, the Bengals are live. So there is a ton going into with this division right now. You might be like, oh, the Ravens, no. And Robert Rodgers stinks. Okay, but how good are the Ravens really in terms of what the Rodgers-led Steelers look like? And the stats are there. When you look at the teams when they're tied record-wise, 5-5, and the Ravens are favored, they're 3-10-1 against the spread in those games. Now, that's a very nuanced type of trend, but just gives you an idea that the Ravens don't cover numbers like this. So this is one of those, everyone's going to bet the Ravens. Steelers stink. Be careful. The guy at the end of the bar is telling you how bad Pittsburgh is, and you might just go, shoot, 74% of the tickets
That's one site that I'm looking at. All are on Baltimore. Okay. It's above that 60% number that has been very, very difficult for the public to win. So I'm teasing this game. I would, if I'm playing this game and I'm taking the Ravens, you can tease it down, but give me the 6 points. I'll take the dog here with the Steelers at +6 coming up against the Ravens. Seattle in Atlanta. I had to be talked off of this by two different people who told me that by betting Seattle, I am dead wrong. I was like, my God, Mike McDonald on the Eastern time zone. It's tremendous. People smarter than me were like, nope, take the Falcons. This is a trap game for Seattle. This is not going to be, Seattle may win, but Seattle is not going to cover a touchdown spread on the road against the Falcons. Where are you on Atlanta and Seattle?
If you want to fade both teams, what do? We bet the under. That's what we do. Like that, okay. As simple as that. 44 and a half is too many points because I think that we're getting a boost here because, it's a dome. Oh, it's a dome. Like this game's going to go over. Like, have Falcons games been shootouts and fun all year? Like, no. Like that has really not been the case. So it doesn't matter where the conditions are. I know we have a lot of weather in a lot of these games this week, but no, I have no faith in Kirk Cousins against a really strong Seattle defense. To your point, Seattle usually plays really, really well on the road, both straight up and against the spread. I think their defense is going to show out today. Yeah. But to the point of Sam Darnold the last couple of weeks, not looked exactly great. He's been kind of terrorized under pressure. And again, the Falcons offense has been a mess, but what's happened this year that's been different from every other year is they actually have a pass rush for the first time since John Abraham was on the Atlanta Falcons. Like it's been a minute since they've been able to generate pass rush, but they can do that here. So I like the under here at 44 and a half points.
It's going to be one of those games that if Seattle blows out the Falcons, I'm going to get really mad at myself because I was talked off this game. When Pat Fitzmaurice and I did our Tuesday show, one of my 3 favorite plays was Mike McDonald and the Seahawks laying 7 against the Falcons because he's 5-2-1 ATS in the Eastern time zone. They just play, for whatever reason, Seattle plays really well in the East. If they have to go on the road in the postseason, I'm good with it. The numbers tell you Seattle's good with it. They can play for whatever reason, 10 o'clock in the morning, West Coast body clock time. They're good. They're able to run with it. So I didn't bet it. I didn't play it. I got talked off of it saying, be careful. So let's see what happens in this one. But this may be an in-game bet for me to take Seattle. If they start dominating on the ground and start moving the football, I'm going to have to come in here and probably take Seattle. Maybe I get less than a touchdown coming up with it. Indianapolis and Jacksonville. Here's the game I can't wait to watch today. Now, Mother Nature, you got to do me a favor. You cannot dump like Noah's Ark type rain on this game. Okay. It might be, it's supposedly going to be like 4 or 5 miles to the north. It's going to just miss the stadium, which is really ideal because if it downpours, I'm not liking my bet, but I'm on Jags money line. They have owned on neutral and home fields. The Jags are 9-1 ATS over the last 10 games against the Colts. I think the Jags are going up, and the broken fibula for Daniel Jones is significant to me because I think the Jaguars can get after the quarterback here and cause mistakes. Yes, I know it's a great running attack with the Colts and Jonathan Taylor, but I'm taking money line Jags. Where are you on Colts versus the Jags?
I talked about this on the early look ahead show with Joe on Monday, and I still don't understand why the Colts are favorite on the road.
Agreed.
I just don't get it, man. Even if weather does play a factor in this, doesn't that favor the home team versus the dome team? It's playing on the road.
Right.
Jacksonville sells out to stop the run. That's something that the Colts haven't been able to do the last couple of weeks because I think Daniel Jones, when he's not mobile, it just makes it easier to try to stop Jonathan Taylor. Again, it's no easy task, one of the best running backs in the NFL, but Daniel Jones is a statue back there with this fibula injury. And I just don't see how we can be confident that, on the road against a team that they haven't beat in 10 years in this stadium with Daniel Jones, who's limited against a pass rush with Josh Hines-Allen that's really come alive over the last couple of games. Jaguars are 4-1 against the spread at home this year. Like they actually have a home field advantage, 80% against the spread. So I think that you can laugh at the trend all you want about, it's been since 2014 since the Colts have beaten Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Well, it's going to be another year after that because I think they win too. So, and if Mother Nature works in our favor, it's going to be raining when the Colts have the ball. So give me the Jags on the money line to win at home.
I think what's interesting too, if you look at the way, let me ask you this. The Jags in the postseason, because we spent, I don't know, a month and a half railing and ripping on the offense and calling Trevor Lawrence all types of names. Like he was clowned, he was memed, he was like this all, but they're 8-4. Like what do you make of them in the playoffs? Like, are they a formidable team? If they have a home playoff game, do they win that game?
I think they could probably win a home playoff game. I mean, you look at who they've beaten at home this year. They beat the Chargers at home, beat the Chiefs at home. They lost by a touchdown or 8 points to the Seahawks at home, but we talked about Seahawks are really good on the road. So, like I said, like they've had some real home field advantage this year. As a Patriots fan, I hope that they're the team that the Patriots play in Gillette. Like that would be very ideal, especially in January. But if in the wild card round, if they're hosting one of these other wild card teams again, if they end up winning the AFC South, I think that they're definitely live. So look, again, I'm not trying, and I understand why the spread is like this. It's tight because it is Jacksonville, one of the most volatile teams that's played this year. But to my point, where they haven't been volatile is at home. Like they've been good and consistent and bettable at home this year. So give me the Jags.
I haven't made this bet yet for the juice, but I've made this bet personally. You can get plus 200 on the Colts to miss the playoffs right now. They have the toughest schedule strength remaining in the NFL. Who they're playing down the stretch. Every team they will play for the rest of the year currently is in the playoff bracket. Jaguars, Seahawks, 49ers, Jaguars, Texans. How many wins are they getting down the stretch? Because the wild card, I think you need to get to 10 or maybe even 11 wins in the AFC to get into a wild card situation. And I like if the Jags win today, Jags have the inside track. They have a much easier schedule than Indianapolis. And if they don't win the division, I'm not sure the Colts make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't imagine that we're going to maybe see two AFC South teams get into
the
postseason.
So
we shouldn't have two AFC South teams,
right? So you better win the division. This is a big game for both teams, and Shane Steichen. It has not been good after a divisional game the week before, playing in a divisional game the next week in this current spot. Shane Steichen is 0-4 straight up and 0-4 against the spread as the head coach of the Colts. He didn't do well in December when it gets to play divisional games. This guy likes to play teams outside the division. When they play divisional games, Colts don't do well. Give me the Jaguars money line. Jags win the game outright here today up against the Colts. New Orleans and Tampa Bay. Again, groupthink. It's wild, but everybody's on New Orleans. They're all fading the Bucs here at home. They're all trusting the Saints. I don't understand. You mentioned not getting certain lines. I don't get how you're taking the Saints today on the road against Baker Mayfield. And this, I know they're not healthy, but they're not completely banged up in the Bucs. Tampa wins today, right? They're not going to lose to the Saints today, are they?
No, I don't think they're going to lose, but I think that this is a pretty big spread for a divisional matchup against a teams that have already faced already this year. And we talk about this with Baker Mayfield all the time, right? You want to bet him when he's on the road underdog, not when he's a heavy home favorite. Buccaneers have failed to cover the spread 6 of their last 7 home games. Like, they don't cover. Tristan Wirfs is not playing today. Like, their stud tackle, he's out. And the Saints defense, again, it's all about the Saints offense, like Tyler Shuck, whatever. But the Saints defense isn't like the worst in the NFL. Like, it's fine. The last time these teams played, Baker Mayfield threw for like $150. Like he didn't have like this miraculous game. So they still are missing some of their wide receivers. Yes, they got Bucky Irving back, but I think that this is more of like the Bucs win by a touchdown. So you're getting 8.5. Sometimes 9 in some spots of the Saints. Again, don't like laying this amount of points with Tampa Bay at home. So that's why I like the Saints as well.
Well, by the way, the 8.5s and 9s are gone. The 8s are going to be gone by kickoff. So we're at 7. We're at 7.5. We're back to the opener at 7.5. So the pro money late is coming in on New Orleans. This is all Saints money. The pros and the Joes are both on the same side. They're also on the under by a pretty good clip in this game, which is somewhat surprising. Maybe weather's going to be a big factor. There's rain all over the state of Florida today. So maybe we're looking at a rain situation while people are playing the under. Again, I don't play rain. I play wind. So weather to me is wind only. I don't care about rain from a total perspective, but 42.5 was the open. We're down to 41.5 across the board. Pretty much the whole world is currently at 41.5, and we may close at 41. Between New Orleans and Tampa, given how much money we have seen. I would lean towards the over. Given how much groupthink is going on there, I would lean towards the over. I would be, I don't know. I'm curious because this could be one of those games where the books it's low handle because it's Tampa, New Orleans, and people aren't really, it's a lot of professional money, not a lot of public money coming in on it. But that's an interesting number that many people, and that yet the professional money, coming in heavily on the dog, and we're now moving down to 7.5 coming up for that on that. All right, final early game slate. It's Cincinnati and Buffalo. Huge game for both teams. As Patriot fans, we're clearly cheering for the Bengals here to win this game, because if that happens, it completely diminishes the importance of next week's game for the Patriots and the Bills. If Cincinnati wins this game, it's a hat and t-shirt game for New England, and they have 2 weeks to prep for the Bills at home in Foxborough to win the AFC East. If Buffalo wins this game, well, next week is pretty darn big. They got to win the game to keep themselves alive. I don't think the Patriots can clinch next week if the Bills do win today, but it'll be very fortuitous for the Patriots from a path perspective. 6 points for the Bills. Buffalo winning, and if they are they covering against Joe Burrow, who is 2-0 straight up and 2-0 ATS against Josh Allen?
Give me the Bengals. Give me the over. That's what I want to bet in this game. Yeah, this spread is kind of weird because it's like pretty similar to what the spread was last week when the Bengals were facing the Ravens. So what would the spread between the Ravens and Bills be? Right? Like, it's weird to think about because
in week 1, what was it? 3? Right?
Yeah.
The 41-40 final game?
3.5, something like
3?
that. Yeah.
So
something like that. But now this is saying that the Bills and Ravens are equals, based on at least how much points you're getting with the Cincinnati Bengals on both sides.
I would agree.
On the road.
You don't think that they're equal? I see major problems with the Bills. Their offensive line is a mess. They can't really run the football. If you stop the run for the Bills, I mean, there's nobody that burns you. That receiving core it looks like Brady at the end of the Tom Brady era, in New England right now in Buffalo.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I would think that. I think I would probably take the
Kincaid
Ravens.
is out, right? Kincaid is out. He's playing. Okay,
yeah.
Hamstring injury.
They said he's going to try to play. So whatever that means, we'll see how effective he is. Again, I want to bet the over in this game. I don't care. Like, there's snow flurries. Like, I don't care.
Cares?
Again, to your point, it's wind. Joe Burrow plays outside. Josh Allen plays outside. The Bills against the spread after a win as favorites, 0-5 for the last 5 games. So that's something that makes me want to bet on the Bengals. And if it's a high scoring game, well, last possession, the Bengals lose by a field goal. Bills kind of squeeze one out in a high-scoring affair. Bills' home games, 15 of the last 19 have gone over the points total. The Bills' offense plays way better at home. And it frustrates me so much because I'm like, man, if they just built a dome here, we would get so many points in so many of these games. We'd have to deal with this win. But, hey, in this particular matchup, I think we're getting points. So give me the over.
I agree. I like the over. I like the Bills. I'm pulling it down. I'm teasing this game. I'm going to Buffalo Bills to win the game. And maybe this is just like the conspiracy theorist in me on this, because I just can't see the last month of the AFC East being a cakewalk for the Patriots. Like, I just can't see it where the Patriots, they get to determine whether they want the 1 seed or not, because they're going to be, if they beat Buffalo, if the Bills lose this game, next week doesn't really matter. The Patriots come off of a bye. They probably win that game. And now it's just a race to 15-2 for New England, and the AFC East race is over. So I just think Buffalo wins the game today. How? I'm not really sure. I don't think they cover, though. I think if I had to bet it, I would say take the points.
Yeah, I would agree. But I do think that the best way to bet this game, enjoy this game, is just
over.
Points. Like,
yep,
these are 2 of the best quarterbacks, and the fact that we get Joe Burrow healthy like that. Because I think this game was supposed to be a primetime game, but it got flexed out because they were like, oh well, the Bengals are terrible. we got to move this game. And obviously Chiefs Texans is still pretty good for tonight. But yeah, just bet the over.
Guys, today's show is being brought to you by Hard Rock Bet. Big news for Hard Rock Bet. They are now live in Michigan. Sign up today and your first $5 sports bet. If it wins, you get $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings. And if you're more into casino games, new customers in Michigan can get up to $1,000 back in casino bonus if you're not up money after your first 24 hours playing slots. Win money or get a casino bonus back. Plus, you also get 200 bonus spins with winnings paid out in cash. Not sure what to bet your place your first bet on? Check out the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. It's got trends, streaks, and stats to help you guide your picks. Hard Rock Bet offers new promos daily, so check it out. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. Let's go to the afternoon slate, and we'll start with Green Bay and Chicago. The trends are wild in this. The numbers opened at 5.5. It's been bet to 6.5. South Point here in Vegas has gone to 7. 7 points at Fanatics. We might see 7 by the time this game kicks off. I'd be careful with that number, but straight up wise, this is the other side of my teaser where I'm taking the Packers down from 7 or 6.5 down to 0.5 to 1.5 or 1. This is a game that Matt LaFleur at home in December does not lose. He has been consistent with December games, December divisional games that feel like playoff games. He's not great in the postseason, but in this game in December, Packers money line, I think you can do it with a money line parlay. I faded the Bears last week. It burned me. I'm fading the Bears again, kind of here. Packers win. I'm not sure Packers cover, though. Where are you on Bears Packers?
Lambeau Field, cold. Give me the under in this game.
Ooh.
Under 44.5, under 44. The Packers haven't played a game at home where the game has gone over this year.
Right.
like their defense is lights out, and I don't need to convince anybody about the Bears and kind of how they're a little bit fraudulent. Maybe a little bit's even being kind of pretty kind to them. The advanced metrics suggest, hey, this team's probably not as good as a 9-3 team actually is. So, yeah, I think it's going to be lower scoring. I would agree with you. I think the Packers end up winning, but the Packers also lost to the Browns and the Panthers this year. So,
right.
They've shown they can beat anybody, and they can also lose to anybody. So, I don't feel comfortable with, again, I'm definitely not laying the 6.5. Again, I have to pick a side against the spread. I would just take the Bears just because all they do is cover. I mean, eventually the luck will run out, but for me, my best bet is definitely the under. Again, Packers game, 0-5-1 towards the over this season at home. And then since last year at home, 4-10-1 towards the over. So I think 40, again, we talked about that Falcons game. That's the same total as this game. The Falcons Seahawks in a dome in Atlanta has the same total as Bears Packers in Lambeau Field.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point. In December, Matt LaFleur is 20-4 straight up as a head coach. And at home, he's 10-1 straight up in December. And when he has 10 days or more rest and prep like he does here, LaFleur is 4-0 straight up in December and 6-1 straight up in December or later. So this has been a very good spot here. And when you go back and look at the Bears and what they have done, they've been really bad in this spot. They just haven't been able to beat the Packers. Now you can say it's a different Bears team, but if you go back to week 18 where they won last year, the Bears are 1-11 straight up against the Packers in their last 12 meetings, and they're 2-10 ATS in those. You can tell me the Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson stuff. I got it, right? You can be like, that was Matt. That was not our guy. That was Eberflus, and that was not Caleb playing in this offense with Ben Johnson. I'll give you that. It's just going to be tough, in my opinion. I like the Packers to win this game. I don't know if they cover, but I like the Packers to win the game today to take down the Bears. The other interesting game, Denver and Vegas here in town. Okay, so Vegas sucks. I think Vegas is the worst team in football, okay? They're god-awful. They're absolutely god-awful. However, Bo Nix against zone defense sucks. Bo Nix is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL against zone, and the Raiders play more zone defense than anybody else in the NFL. In fact, it's 85% of the time the Raiders play. I don't think Bo Nix does very much today. So you want an underplay? I think this is a good underplay because Geno Smith can't do anything. This offense is broken in half here in Vegas. They've already fired Chip Kelly. Didn't look much better last week, as I thought they might be able to keep that game close. Nope, they couldn't. They lost the Chargers and didn't cover a 10-point spread that I got in that game. I think the Broncos win. I like the under in the game. I like Bo Nix rushing in this game. But where are you on Raiders and the Broncos? Because Denver almost lost at home to the Raiders.
I'll just take the home underdog with 8 points. We saw this again, like you said, we saw this matchup a couple weeks ago. I like the Raiders in that spot, and that game was so gross. That game was through the slog.
It was gross. Thursday, though. Okay, it was a Thursday night game.
Thursday.
So this is a full rest game versus a quick turnaround game.
That being said, I've lost so many bets this year betting on the Broncos as heavy favorites, and I'm sick of it. So give me the Raiders at home.
It's the only way to play this game. It's 8 points. It's 8. On what planet this is my thing with the Broncos, and this is my thing with why they better be the 1 seed. Like if you're a Bronco fan, you better be the 1 seed. Bo Nix on the road sucks. He just does. Like it's just he does not play well on the road. And I say that with full knowledge of how bad the Raiders are. And so, like, I think they're the worst team in football. I think Pete Carroll has no idea what he's doing. I think hiring his two sons was the whole reason why he took the job, because he get to bring his two sons with him, and he's 73 years old, and going to work every day with your kids is pretty cool. So I think he likes doing that. This team has not had any type of cohesion. Culture was supposed to be the thing that Pete Carroll brought here. I mean, they've got three good players, and everyone else get out. Okay. Genty, Bowers, and Crosby, and the rest of the roster, get the hell out of Vegas. Like, just get rid of everybody, including Pete Carroll, including his sons. And Brady's talking about burning it to the ground while he's broadcasting games. Like, I don't understand what Tom's doing. Why are you saying these things publicly? Like, if you want to do that, that's great, but you're trying to save face because Carroll was your pick. Chip Kelly was your pick. You paid Chip Kelly the largest contract of any OC in the NFL. That was your pick. So it's a lot of egg on Brady's face at the moment about what's happening here with the Raiders. But so far, Brady looks like Michael Jordan in the NBA. He's got no business being a owner, no business knowing what he's doing right now, because this team sucks on so many levels. But for today, under 40.5 and take the dog. It's a same game teaser option for me. Depending on how my early slate goes, I'll probably jump it in on that. Rams and the Cardinals. Sean McVay has owned this team. The Cardinals at home would be a team I would look for if things weren't kind of going south at the moment for the Rams, and things aren't like going great for the Rams. Where are you? Are they covering a 9.5 point number today?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
I think that because like last week was so weird with the turnovers because the Rams offense was still moving the ball up and down the Carolina Panthers defense. It was just because turnover in the red zone, pick six. So that kind of influence again. And that was double-digit dog at home. Again, this isn't double digits. It's, I think, 9.5. That's the line I'm seeing here. So unless it was 10 points, I'm still on the Rams side. Again, Los Angeles, after a loss this year, is 2-0 against the spread, 6-3 against the spread after a loss dating back to last season. They've covered their last 6 games after a loss. And we talked about how good Seattle is on the road. The Rams, best record as a road favorite, 10-2 against the spread. Obviously, last week, it didn't pan out. Are we going to get 2 weeks in a row? They don't cover these big spreads on the road. I don't think so. I think that they get back on track here and they just pound the Arizona Cardinals. You're not getting any pick sixes today for Matthew Stafford. I think it's just 4 tutties for Matthew Stafford. And again, it is scary with Jacoby because he always is dropping back to throw a million times, but he's going to make mistakes against this pass rush. And I think that's going to create short fields. I think the Rams steamroll.
These numbers are nuts. Sean McVay against the Cardinals is 12-4-1 straight up. That's the most profitable opponent he has had so far. In 17 total meetings, Arizona has covered in back-to-back games versus McVay 1 time. On the road, Arizona, McVay is 7-1 straight up and 7-1 against the spread. The only loss being last year's trip to Arizona. And as a road favorite in Arizona, Sean McVay is 6-0 straight up and 6-0 against the number. Like,
love to hear it. Hear it.
It's just auto. It's just there aren't many trends you can look at. McVay and the Rams against the Cardinals is one of those where you can just kind of close your eyes and bet it because it almost comes true every single time. So it's significant on that. Before we do the night game, guys, track your bets and get early line alerts straight to your phone by downloading the BettingPros app with Sportsbook Sync. Automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including picks, props, and parlays. Create betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. New users can get 6 months of BettingPros Premium free with your first deposit and wager at one of our partner sportsbooks. To learn more about that, go to bettingpros.com/premium. All right. I normally don't get double involved here on Sunday night, but I am doubly involved here with the Texans on the road against the Chiefs. 5-0, 5 straight wins for Patrick Mahomes against the Texans. He just has had their number. Season's over. If we see a 6-7, Chief team, season over for Kansas City. Where are you on Chiefs Texans tonight?
Betting the under in this game. I don't think they're going to be points scored. Chiefs home games, they have 1 game in 6 home games that has gone over the projected total. And we know that that's the way the Texans play is with their elite defense. So I think 41.5, I think there's still value here on the under. And one of the best ways I've been betting Texans games the last 2 weeks is you move the Texans up to +8.5. and you bump the total up a little bit and you just get more value, because if the Texans defense shows up, they're not going to lose by 8.5 points.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to lose by double-digit touchdowns, in my opinion. So I think that's a way to get some better numbers on, because you're still just like betting the total, but you're getting a better number because, yeah, I don't think the Texans are going to get blown out. And a trend that I've always liked is, it reminds me of when we would bet on the team that would face the Lions. Remember the Honolulu flu, where it's like the week after they face the Lions, teams always play like crap. Well, teams after they face the Dallas Cowboys, 2-1-8 towards the over.
Wow.
You see I like to call it the lasso lag, essentially. So you face the Dallas Cowboys defense.
Look at
you look amazing because you're facing the Dallas Cowboys defense. Mahomes threw for 4 touchdowns last week on Thanksgiving. Yep. And now he's facing the Texans. Like, you couldn't go from one end of the spectrum defensively to another end. Again, they both play in Texas, but these two defenses couldn't be any more different between Houston and Dallas. So I think that the under is the strongest play here. And like I said, if you want to tease up the Texans plus 8.5, you get a better number of the total, 46.5, take the under on -110. That's how I like playing this game.
Interesting. To go along with your lasso lag, the Chiefs defense allowed 31 points to the Cowboys last week. In November or later, with Mahomes playing for Kansas City, they're 8-0 straight up in the regular season. The week after, their defense allows 30 points in the previous game, 30 or more points in the previous game. I like KC to win this game because I'm going to bank on Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the NFL. I'm going to bet on the trend. I'm going to bet on the theory, because we are looking at a postseason that it is possible that Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes all may miss the playoffs. That is an insanity from a TV perspective, okay? The NFL, at the end of the day, is still a television show, and they still care about ratings. And Patrick Mahomes, they just made the announcement for Taylor Swift's wedding yesterday. It's happening next June, okay? This is to not have Mahomes and Kelsey in the playoffs. If they lose this game, they're 6-7, and I think they're dead. They're dead for the division anyway, but they'll be dead for a wild card perspective. They are not going to be there. So on that point, Chiefs win. Do they cover a small number? Yes, I think that they do. I can't trust this offense. It's 3.5 or 3. I got 3. I'd rather 3. You've seen overnight money drive this thing to 4 at the Superbook, at Caesars, at South Point. I mean, I'm not sure I'm laying 4. I'm going to be honest. I think 3 points is kind of my ceiling on this game here. So maybe you do want to get involved, like what you talked about. If you see a 4, make it 10. 6-point teaser, Texans plus 10. Hard to see KC blowing out anybody, let alone this defense, with offensive line issues for Kansas City and the best pass rush in football coming at Patrick Mahomes coming up here for today. So this Chief defense needs to play really well. I'm with you. I'm surprised at the total ticking up a 0.5 point this morning. You got 42.5. So did I. But the number was 41.5 that I gave out last night on the juice, because that's where it was across the country. It's 42 now at certain books. So we're ticking back up to the number that you and I got earlier. I got it earlier in the week. This was my look ahead bet now spot when Pat and I did the show on Tuesday. This was the game I said bet the under now, because I thought we'd be looking at 40. I thought it would keep on coming down. I'm a little surprised that it's jumped up on that. So
well, I know that there's one of the Texans cornerbacks is injured. Lassiter, excuse me.
Okay.
He's the number 2 guy, and he's actually been pretty strong this year. So maybe that's the reason why we're seeing some money coming on the over. But like I said earlier, the Texans have covered plus 8.5 every single game this year. Every single game. So you move the line to plus 8.5 Texans. They haven't played a game that's had more than 46 points either total. So 46.5, take the under. Texans plus 8.5. It's -110.
Before we leave, timeout. Quick update for you guys who are watching us who have not seen this. Notre Dame has been left out of the college football bracket. The committee has left the Irish at home. This is going to be so wild to see the fallout tomorrow morning from this, because the number of people who told me that I was crazy, that the committee wouldn't take head-to-head, that head-to-head didn't matter, that you're crazy, Matt, it's never going to. And I kept on going back to history, saying the committee has shown historically that head-to-head matters. Miami is in. The Irish are out. Your number 1 seed is Indiana. Number 2 seed is Ohio State. 3 seed, Georgia. 4 seed, Texas Tech. JMU is in, and so is Tulane. JMU is playing at Oregon. Tulane's playing at Ole Miss, which is GD Cinema. Miami is in over Notre Dame, and they will play at Texas A&M. Miami against A&M, and Notre Dame is not in the college football playoff. That is stunning. Like, it's the right move. I agree with it. Head-to-head has to matter. I didn't think they would leave them out entirely, though. Like, I thought that they'd put Miami in and Notre Dame after what happened last night. Duke is not in. Notre Dame is not in. So no rep from the ACC and no rep from the quasi-ACC team in Notre Dame. They're not in either. So, okay. There's going to be a lot of talk in the next 24 hours about what the committee did, which is exactly what they want. They get a lot of conversations with that. But Irish people are going to be breaking their phones today at the fact their team is not in the college football playoffs, and they do not get the $4 million either. Guys, one more reminder, you can score 6 months of BettingPros Premium for free. Just make a deposit and place your wager at a partner sportsbook. Premium gives you access to Sharp AI, the betting systems, prop bet cheat sheet, and the same game parlay builder. All tools you need to bet smarter. Claim your upgrade now at bettingpros.com/premium. All right, let's go over your full card. Andrew, where are you at with your props as well for today?
Yep. So the card today, Browns, Jets, Jaguars against the spread. Love all of those. Again, tight spreads. Feels a little squarish, but hey, don't care.
I like it. No, I like it.
So we're going to go with those for my picks against the spread. When it comes to the totals, Bengals, Bills going over, Bears, Packers under at Lambeau, and the Chiefs, Texans Sunday Night Football going to go under 41.5 or 42 points on where we can get your best line. Shop the best lines. And then my favorite player props. Talked about Tua. He's going to throw a pick today against the Jets on the road. Cold weather, you get it at plus money. Shouldn't be plus money. Bet on Tua throwing a pick. Derrick Henry. It is D. Hember after all. He rushes for over 100 yards per game in January and December against the Steelers, who gave up, I don't even know how many yards they gave up last week against the Bills, but the Bills could not stop the run, or they could not be stopped on the run against the Steelers last week. So I like the Ravens rushing effectively against the Steelers defense. And actually my favorite player prop of every prop today is Kyren Williams going under 15.5 carries. His last 9 games, he has hit 16 carries one single time. They've talked about keeping him fresh for the playoffs. They're getting Blake Corum more involved. They're actually switching and rotating drives. So even though I do like the Rams in this spot, I don't think this is, hey, we're going to feed Kyren Williams 20 carries. Not the case. They like to throw the ball in the red zone, so that takes away Kyren Williams' attempts. So I think he's going to go under 15.5 carries for the 10th time in his last 9 games. So I like Kyren Williams going under. That's my favorite player prop.
For me, for my plays for today, we're going to jump in with the Chiefs laying 3. I like them. I know that number's 3.5 or 4, but let's see if that number comes back down. I got that yesterday. Chiefs -3. I think the Steelers and the Ravens, you take the dog in that, +6 on the Steelers. We both like the Jets against the Dolphins. That number's 2.5, unfortunately, but we both got 3. I like the Jaguars on the money line. I got +110. Shop around and find the best price there, but I think the Jags win the game outright. Forget the spread. Just take Jags money line. We both like the under. It's 42, so you can get a better number there with Chiefs and the Texans under. That should be 41.5 is what I got for that number, but 41. Sorry, Sal, I missed that. But 41.5 is number on that, but 42 is available. And then the teaser of the week is the Bills. Tease them to a money line pick, basically, in the Packers money line as well against the Bears. I'll keep Matt LaFleur dominating. We talked about Bo Nix and the fact that he does not play well against zone defenses, and the Raiders play more zone than anybody else. I think Bo Nix will have to run here for first downs against Max Crosby and company. I think he's over on his rushing yards, 16.5 over for that. You also can throw, I think Bo Nix throws a pick today. And I think the Raiders are in the game. I think it's I've come around on this because of Bo Nix's inability to score. The under may be the best play in the whole game for the Raiders and then the Broncos. I'm going to play that in game. I want to see how it goes, but I think under is a good bet there. Breece Hall, I think he'll be a big catalyst here for this Jets offense to go over 89.5 rushing and receiving yards. That's a prop bet cheat sheet 5-star play. And I like Shedeur Sanders to throw the ball today against a really poor Titans secondary in defense. Over 160.5 passing yards for Shedeur Sanders. He got to 150 last week against against a much different defense, a better defense last week. This week, I think he goes over 160. I think he has a decent game today up against a really poor Titans team. Any closing thoughts, Erickson, on the way out here for week 14?
Nope. I think we've said it all.
Go Patriots. We'll see what happens here.
Patriots.
Bills,
Go
Bengals.
Bengals. Go
Bills,
Bengals.
Bengals, baby. Bills, Bengals. That's a huge game in the AFC East standings if the Bengals can keep their season alive. Bengals have to win today to keep their season alive. If they lose, that's pretty much it. So it's almost a de facto elimination game in a lot of ways because the Bills may have a tough time making the postseason if they lose this game and don't win the division wild card, given the Chargers and everything else happening in the AFC. There's a lot of things going on here in the month of December that's great for the NFL. He is Andrew Erickson. I am Matt Perrault for Sal in the back. Thank you for watching, guys. We're back next week. Same place, same time here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel.